publisher of the San Diego Voice and Viewpoint newspaper, coming to you with our program from the desk of the editor. And we are here this evening as San Diego's oldest and only African-American publication, serving you throughout San Diego County, 17 cities, 89 zip codes, unincorporated areas, available in newsstands online if you download the app at the Google or Apple store, as well as retail outlets like 7-Elevens and community stores. So our theme and our slogan has always been, the people without a voice cannot be heard, and we're here to be that voice for you. Joined by Dr. Leonard Thompson III here, as this evening we do an open mic, and we're dedicating the discussion to helping to encourage people as we prepare for tomorrow morning when this atmospheric storm is supposed to come through, and to talk about all of the efforts that are underway and how our community is so proudly pulling together to make things work. So you can reach us if you call by phone at 858-251-6111, or you may come to us online through godradio1.com. So Dr. Thompson, I don't know if we left out anything here, but good evening and glad that you're here to share as we try to do this.
Well, good evening, Dr. Warren. It is another day here that we are trying to make sure that pertinent information gets out to our community and also around the nation. There's so much that is going on, but we in San Diego are really facing a crisis because we just came through the floods of last week, and we're preparing for another rainstorm for the next 2 days. And we're trying to get people that are displaced out of their homes due to flood and ill repair of their homes, to get them into shelter, get them into hotels, and so much is going on. So, Dr. Warren, I think that it would be important, number one, to do a recap of what's taking place. Number two is to give information and pertinent information to people that are preparing for these storms, and even those listeners that are around are outside of the city of San Diego, but all the way up to the West Coast, and also the people that are suffering from rainstorms, snowstorms, and other things. This is pertinent information that can help you as you navigate what's going on in your very community.
Well, Dr. Thompson, as we prepare to do that, we want to let people know that they can participate on Zoom this evening. Our meeting ID for this meeting is 824-376-266741. Again, the ID is 824-3726-6741. The passcode is 065942. Again, 065942.
Yes, and what I'm going to do for those of you guys that are on Facebook and that you all want to come in to the Zoom, we're going to make that available to you on Facebook in just a few minutes. We'll have the Zoom link up there for you so that you are able to do it. So the Zoom link is now up if you want to join us and be a part of this discussion on Zoom tonight.
Well, we want you to know, of course, this all started a week ago. More than a week now, a week and 2 days. Last Monday, not this past, but Monday before, we had this torrential downpour. We got, over a 3-hour period, we got 2 inches of rain for each hour. The channels flooded, the debris piled up in terms of the drain system was blocked. Tremendous damage in Southeast National City. I understand some spread into Spring Valley. And all of these areas that were low-lying throughout the city, Mission Valley, every place we had low-lying area, down in Imperial Beach, the really crisis down there with the flood waters and the Tijuana sewage spilling over into the water on this side, at least one fatality down there. We saw damage that we've never seen before in southeastern San Diego. The Jacobs Center flooded out, and that's why we had to move our gala from there to Liberty Station. The water was so bad there that the cars on the parking lot were floating. First floor damage to the KIPP Academy in terms of it. Along Imperial Avenue, you could see that whole storm channel overloaded. Cars pulled into it, the debris piled up, and in Mountain View and Canto, all of these places had low-lying areas. We had flooding, and we've had the beauty of what came out of the tragedy, though. Homes were destroyed, was that the people in the community came together like never before. And I mean, over 300 and some volunteers, we estimate. Jackie Robinson YMCA became the hub for activity, and people immediately hit the ground rescuing folks where they needed to be rescued, providing shelter. The Red Cross opened up Lincoln High School as a shelter. People were being sheltered there. Efforts to get people out of homes, some had to go to rooftops in terms of what happened. In the days ensuing, efforts to get the storm drains cleaned out, big complaints about the neglect of the drains, allegations in terms of people accusing the city of not having been on top of this like they should have, saying maybe they were only cleaning like a half a mile of drain every so many months. But yet we got reports today, as I've continued to look into this, and we've been boots on the ground covering it, that 2 weeks ago, there were crews in both Rancho Bernardo and La Jolla that they spent 2 weeks, 12 hours a day cleaning the storm drains of debris in those communities. And a lot of what happened out here would not have happened if drains had been cleaned. Now, the irony of it is that since then, the city is now boasting that in the past 8 days that they have cleared over 4 miles of storm drains in our very communities that nobody could get help to, that have been calling, some people said, for years to get the city out, and things were just being ignored. And so it's put the city on high alert. It ended up with the mayor calling for declaring a state of emergency, even as of last Monday night. And with that state of emergency, there was efforts to be in touch with FEMA, the state. The governor called San Diego County an emergency scenario. FEMA has not been able to get in here as they should because of all of the issues that were involved in meeting some kind of numerical quota of survey need in order for them to kick in. The beauty is that the community was not waiting on FEMA or the city or the county. The people were out there gathering food, clothes. They had distribution, collection points at the Y, a collection point established at ECC. Clothing and food was available. Sunday, over 300 to 400 hot meals were being served to people. This was folks who went into their kitchens and cooked and brought food to the Y for distribution. And the system has been organized. We can't say enough for 5K Hip Hop Wellness, or for the Multicultural Health Foundation that held the initial meeting last Tuesday following this crisis, and so many things spun off from there. So organizations have come together, pillars of the community, the people, the Y, the staffs, volunteers, and people have just been working furiously. I noticed yesterday there were sandbags that were available at the Jackie Robinson Y. There was also a truckload of sand available for people to continue to fill bags where they needed to. I noticed today that there was a collection of brand new shovels made available so that people could use those shovels where they needed to. There was a request that early this week that cars be moved, and so the moving of cars allowed them to get in closer, dealing with the drainage backup and what happened. Many of the cars that were towed because of the flood damage, we got a commitment that there would be no charges for towing or storage for 30 days in terms of those cars. There's been a request for an eviction moratorium because even after some flood damage, there were fires in a couple of places and families lost everything that they had. At the same time, there were other elements calling for a 12-month suspension on mortgage payments for the people whose homes have been so impounded. Some of these homes might have still had asbestos in them because of the age. Where there was water damage, that means they got to tear the walls out to prevent mold from coming in. We know that some people are going to suffer mold damage because some are reluctant to leave their homes in spite of this. So I just gave you just a little bit of what's been almost around the clock with people working nonstop at the Y, on hand, in the field, surveying, getting information from folks. Tonight they're moving people into hotels. We don't know what happened with the Housing Commission. They were meeting earlier, prioritizing, but from the folks who were on the ground at the YMCA, we made a collective decision. They made it, and I certainly joined in to participate and encourage others from Black Men and Women United to do so, that the Comfort Inn off of Benita Road and 805 is a place where a number of rooms have been paid for. I think as of this evening, over between 16 and 30 families are now sheltered in that hotel. And I know the ones that we paid for 5 nights, so that whatever family got that room, they know they have a place to stay through Monday evening or through Monday night, I guess, into Tuesday morning. This to get people through the rain. There was a press conference earlier today as the mayor was telling people to prepare for a mandatory evacuation. He didn't say it was mandatory, but they had to be preparing for mandatory evacuation. And so the heavy rain should be here in the morning. And so, Dr. Thompson, that's kind of up to date up to in the last 2 or 3 hours, and people are still meeting even now as we're here. And I encourage the members of the team, if they could break away, to feel free to come on to share what we have with other people.
Okay, so one of the things that I want to say first and foremost is I want to send kudos out to all of the organizations and all of the media that has worked so diligently to get the information out and to make sure that we are serving the community. Again, we did not wait for the government, everybody to come in. The communities really got together and started working. I want to send a special shout out to media as well as for social media influencers, for those of you guys that are documenting what is taking place, but are not using it to get your own, to have social media sensationalism. You know what I'm saying? I want to appreciate that, because so many people, so many families are hurting, and when people are hurting, the last thing that they want to do is be used as a soundbite.
Right.
And so I love when I saw the community coming together. I love that I saw cameras only being used when they were trying to get out information and try to guide people. This is not the time to make a reputation of yourself. You know, I especially want to send a shout out to so many of the quiet workers. You know, people can say what they want to say about the mayor's team and staff, but they're working overtime into the wee hours of the morning. They can say what they want to say about the county. They're working into the wee hours of the morning. They can say what they can say about anybody, but people are working, and they're just not advertising. They're literally doing the work to try to get these families safe and off the street. And here's the bigger thing that people are not paying attention to, is that some people say, oh, we're just tearing out walls and everything else of that nature. But because of asbestos, they can't just tear out the walls. They have to go through and test to make sure there's not asbestos. Because there's asbestos, there's a different treatment they have to cover and everything else, so that people won't get sick or sicker.
And they're encouraging people to use PPE equipment, personal protective equipment, just like we did during the pandemic, so that if you are tearing out something, you don't know what's back there, you won't become ill or infected in course of what is taking place. Yeah. And so that makes a big difference in terms of what's being done. But they are working relentlessly. I mean, they are moving food and water and soliciting blankets and pillows and coverage and the whole bit. And they got to get food to folks. Even getting in a hotel is one thing, but that doesn't come with any kind of room service.
Yeah.
So they gotta get food and stuff to people while they're there. And we know it becomes even more difficult by in the morning when this rain really kicks in.
So let me ask you this question. Let's just talk about the process. Some people had flood insurance because their homes were actually in flood channels, and for them to be able to have flood insurance, or to get house insurance, they had to have flood insurance. But some people were not in those flood zone areas that it was mandatory to have flood insurance. What is the process if you are being affected by this natural disaster? If you could kind of, Dr. Warren, if you know, Walk us through the process.
Well, there are several steps to what's involved right now. The district attorney's office has been in the media wanting people to be leery of contractors knocking at their doors. The criminal element comes out at this time. They knock and tell you that they can fix it in a few minutes or a day or two, and they get initial money from people supposedly for supplies, and they disappear. And so the DA is telling people, any contractors you even thinking about, make sure you get their number and verify that they are licensed with the state. That's one of the areas of this scenario. We don't know what's going to happen from the FEMA standpoint. When you talk about insurance, a lot of people do not have flood insurance. Insurance companies have been canceling flood and fire insurance in California. As a matter of fact, a number of insurance companies are leaving the state. And the state fund has not geared up to be able to cover this kind of damage. And you know, we've had some major fires in the past 3 years here, and those fires had really hit companies hard. Mm-hmm. And so people are without coverage. The coverage that they have might be for fire insurance. They don't even have really earthquake is a whole different category of insurance, okay? And so we don't know how that's going to work. People are having a hard time with this whole situation. I was just listening today about it's 6 months since the fires in Maui, and those people still are in a housing crisis, some living on the beach in tents. They don't have the resources coming in. There's a housing shortage. We already had a housing shortage here, so it's even worse at this point. And if FEMA does get that, they hit the threshold for FEMA to come in, the amount of money that they will give to people will be minuscule compared to what the needs will be and how soon they can get checks in their hands. Mm-hmm. You know, they went through this with Katrina in terms of getting checks in hands and mm-hmm. getting trailers in, temporary housing. They had space and stuff for a lot of that. We don't know, because many of those trailers, it turns out that they brought in, had asbestos lining in the trailers, and they still couldn't be used. Yeah. Okay? And so we had a housing crisis. We also have an issue here with the number of homeless people on the street. Now, the homeless people have been moved and invited to come to the gym in Balboa Park. Okay. And they're taking them in there. There was an issue with homeless people.
Now, what gym are we talking about? The Activity Center gym, or are we talking about the Metropolitan?
I guess it's the main gym.
Okay.
The main gym at Balboa has been opened up as a shelter for the homeless.
Okay.
Okay. And I know they've tried in the past to put some of them at Civic Center at Golden Hall.
Yeah.
But in this case, that's the main shelter that they're inviting people to get to, and some will come take advantage, some won't. And so that's an issue. We know that one of the parking homeless shelters that they had last week also flooded out, and they had to move people. So that was a real crisis scenario. And so when they moved to have Lincoln open up as a Red Cross shelter, then there were some issues because the Red Cross didn't want the homeless people to come in. And the homeless people were trying to get coverage just like the people who had been displaced. And so some people were turned away. There's a story brewing about how a particular person was trying to be helpful, and the Red Cross ended up refusing to give them a voucher for housing and putting them out of the shelter. So, you know, the Red Cross should be cleaner than Caesar's wife in terms of all of this stuff, but they are not. And those are some issues that are going to be dealt with when we get through the crisis. Right now, we're about helping families and getting people safe. We'll deal with the politics of it afterwards.
Well, Dr. Warren, as you can see above me, there are certain road closures that are taking place in the Southcrest community. Vesta Street between Birch Street and Acacia Street, Delta Street at Acacia Street, Gamma Street between 38th Street and 39th Street. These are all road closures.
Right.
South 37th Street between Acacia, Grove Way and Boston Avenue is closed. South 38th Street between Acacia Street and Boston Avenue. Acacia, Grove Way and Silk Tree Terrace and Z Street at 39th Street. All those are closed.
Right.
Now in Canto, can you see that up there?
Yes,
Canto?
and in Canto, we have the following roads are closed between, what's that, Aikens and Brooklyn Avenue. And then we have, what's that drive, Iona Drive? Brooklyn Avenue, Iona Drive. We got the closure 60th Street, 61st Street, 62nd Street, 63rd Street. And this is as of 7 p.m. these closures are taking place. Aikens Avenue between Iona Drive and San Altos Place, 68th and 69th Streets between Madrone and Imperial Avenue, Hamershaw Road between 68th and Flicker Streets, and Pigeon Street between Lisbon Street and Imperial Avenue.
Those are road closures.
Those are road closures as of 7 p.m. this evening, which is 21 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is all in anticipatory preparation. San Diego River crossing status, Riverwalk between Avenida del Rio and Hazard Center Drive is closed. Avenida del Rio between Riverwalk and Camino de la Reina is closed. Fashion Valley Road between Riverwalk and Camino de la Reina, and then Camino de la Reina between Avenida del Rio and Camino de la Sestra. So these are road closures and possible flooding areas. And if we can keep people out of those areas, then we don't have to engage in rescues. And that all of this is just in San Diego, because we know going south, we got issues in National City in terms of low-lying areas at Chula Vista. And we know that down in Imperial Beach, down near Halston, where we have all of these horses that they had to rescue like some 500 animals, and they were still trying to get people out of there. That's when we have people trying to cross the river, if you will, in the midst, and the water level is up. So the San Diego Lifeguard Swift River Rescue element is usually down there, and they also have to be deployed in areas like Mission Valley, because it's Mission Valley, Fashion Valley there, where that flooding occurs. There's always somebody trying to get through. We got those low-lying areas in Encanto, which is known for low-lying areas. Much of streets in Encanto don't have sidewalks, and it's an embarrassment that the city still has an element like that that's just almost like rural, right in the middle of the city. And so wherever you see there's a low dip in terms of the road, that's the area one should stay away from and not assume that your car can get through it.
Well, one of the things also, Dr. Warren, is that for those of you guys that take public transportation, you're going to have to tap into the MTS and find out what diversions they're taking, because some of the tracks are going to be flooded, some of the roads are going to be changed for the busing routes. So you're going to have to be really on point with that. Now, here's the thing that I think is really important, Dr. Warren, to sign up for the Alert San Diego. You want to talk about that? Yeah,
and you can sign up there. Text HELP to 98266 to get safety information delivered directly to your phone. And you will hear, they have a reverse phone system in San Diego County now. I think that former supervisor Leon Williams was one of the people responsible for creating that, where when there's a disaster after what we went through with the fires of 2004 and 5, they can hit that signal and they can hit every place in terms of people coming online in the county. And so there was a warning alerts coming on. I know I have them on my phone. A lot of you have them on your television, but they're on your cell phone as well. So these are very, very important alerts to pay attention to. And one of the things I want to stress, because a lot of people hear in the news when we talk about rain and storms in the mountains, and you hear the term flash flood, but you don't really get what a flash flood is. Folks, one moment everything is dry, the next moment you hear a noise, the next moment you're being washed away. That's why it's called flash. It moves fast, okay? And so if you're in a place where there's a hillside near you or something, or you got some damage from before, if you didn't put out sandbags or whatever, one of the dangers of the cleaning of the storm drains that they've done is that the water now, because the drains are open, the water is going to move with greater force than it was moving the last time when the drains were clogged.
Yeah.
So that means there's a bigger chance to get washed away.
And one of the things I think that is very important, that just because they've been cleaning drains and things of that nature, things are still going to wash into the storm drain. Things are still going to be washing down from other parts of it. So the drains can be clogged again, because when debris falls, it doesn't just happens to get in there. People are dumping and doing different things, and that's what's causing the debris. Some people, even as they're cleaning their homes, they're saying they don't want to go to the dump, so they're just dumping over the storm drain with the mindset somebody's going to come and clean it up. But if it's not cleaned up, then it becomes a part of
It
stuff.
blocks the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
So-
that gets to be an issue.
And so, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
and Dr. Thompson, we see people, we see the reference here, we have preparing for the flash floods. I just told you it could happen in minutes. The sandbags, they made it available. But you need to get ready to leave. You can't wait until it happens and then start running around the house trying to collect papers and documents. If you have important documents in terms of your house, birth certificates, driver's licenses, all those things that are going to be as important in terms of establishing your identity if you have to have emergency assistance following this scenario. And so we want you to prepare for it. You know, some 30 years ago, we at the Voice of Viewpoint created a survival bag, and we made the bags available to schools and churches and a whole bunch of people, because we had witnessed what happened in other places. And if you might not remember, but when Katrina hit, you know, you saw people down there, they raided the stores, the shelves are wiped out, the whole bit. And there are people that have medical needs, all kinds of needs. So these things need to be put together, and they need to be ready. And if you're finding that you think you see a clogged storm drain or something, the city has put up a number that you can call, 619-527-7500, 619-527-7500, so you can deal with that. There's full service temporary shelters, meals, showers, beds, pets. Showers were being made available at the Jackie Robinson Y for people who could get there. And it is, Dr. Thompson, the Balboa Park Municipal Gymnasium at 2111 Pan American Road. And that we don't know quite exactly the opening time, but all of these things are being put in place to try and be of help in terms of what we anticipate is coming.
Yes, and one of the things about it, as we are online and as we are speaking, we're getting different reports coming in from the city. And what they are asking is, at this time, they're asking everybody to stop putting out trash on the street and debris out on the street, because they need to be able to keep the streets clear,
Right.
so that they can make sure that people are able to go ahead and get through, and that it doesn't become a hazard as people are trying to get through. Another thing is they're saying is that they have, and I'm trying to put this up as it's coming in. I apologize, because I'm trying to get a couple of things done at the same time, Dr. Warren. But they're also saying that there is free transportation, and I'm trying to get it to put up in the feed. So if you give me just 1 minute, I'm gonna try to get this up in the feed of our show, so that people can see where they're going to be able to. So let me see if I can get that there.
Well, the transportation was a big element. I know they had some Uber and some Lyft things, and I don't know how they got MTS, but I wanted to mention, when you talked about the rail traffic, that last week in the storm, trolley service stopped at Lincoln Park there at Euclid, and then people had to catch buses going to East County from there because of the damage to the tracks, where so many instances the water running through the drainage system really washed away almost up to the railing in some places, and they had to go in and reconfigure all of those things. So if you're traveling, you need to travel early, you need to travel light. If you're driving, you need to drive carefully. We still got people that get out there and think they can drive like they're at the Indy 500, which is absolutely ridiculous, because when the roads are wet, it's going to be cooler than it was. Today was warm. A cooling trend is coming with this storm, and another storm is going to follow. The ground is still wet from the last storm. And so we need to exercise caution in terms of moving out there. And we need to try to be respectful and try to be courteous to help each other. I am just so proud of those people who have come together and formed these teams operating out of the Jackie Robinson Y, where there's no differences of opinion there. It's just people voluntarily doing whatever job they're equipped to do. And, you know, I want to give a shout out to Carlton Overstreet and to Brother Harvey, the Harvey Foundation. They were super. Barry Pollard is there with the organization of people. BAPAC members have been involved. Gyra Providers right there. They were doing meals Sunday, delivering, and just working.
Well, Doc, and I want to can I chime in?
Sure.
Because Gyra Providers, they did 500
meals on Sunday,
and they're continuing to go forth with that. I mean, this is no small feat.
No,
you know, we're watching people, you know, cook out of their kitchen, and people are picking up food and doing it. Literally seeing the community come together and not making reputation of themselves. So let me give you this.
Yes,
I'm trying to get this. We're getting this in transportation to city temporary shelters. United Taxi Workers will help impacted residents under the evacuation warning get to city temporary shelters at no charge. To schedule a ride, call 619-280-4444 and use the Ride United app and just put in passenger. Provide your pickup address is designated and designated Balboa Park Municipal Gym, meaning that you want to go there for safety. And then they're saying the Encanto Park and Mountain View Rec Center have showers, sandbags, and donated items that you can go there. They're also saying that this comes from the mayor's office that Saturday, February 3rd, and Sunday, February 4th from 8 to noon. They're looking for donations to be given. Places are going to be the Beckworth Library, College Redondo Library, Southcrest Teen Center, and Encanto Rec Center. And these are the items that they're saying that they need immediately: bleach, blankets, towels, linen, trash liners, power washers, excuse me, shop vacs, inflatable mattresses, pillows, laundry services, bottled water, white PPE suits, rain boots, plastic storage bins, utility gloves, Lysol wipes, aerosol spray, hand sanitizer, laundry detergent, paper towels, trash bags, sandbags with sand, adult diapers, infant diapers, socks, undergarments, first aid kits, flashlights, N95 masks. They also need, they have flashlights twice, sponges and scrubbers, dishwashing detergent, and shovels. And they also need volunteers with construction materials. And then we also saw that some people are saying that they also need some trucks to help pick up the debris and get it into different locations. And this is what I want to say. You have, in representing District 4, representing the mayor's office, Coral Taylor. She's on the line. She's putting information in the thing. But everybody, including China Warren Darby, who's actually running for 4th District, has put all that to the side because the community needs help. And so it's more about helping people now than egos. Is more about us coming together. We can fuss at each other later.
Yes. Right
now, what we have to do, we have to close ranks. And that's what I'm seeing happen, and it's so beautiful. Everybody's putting all their issues to the side and saying, let's get together. And that's what we need in our community.
And we still have some more things to take place, you know. The trash pickup. One of the reasons people were dumping trash was because no one had told the folks at the dump to suspend the charges for trucks coming in so that people could get in and make dump. Because if they can't get in there and they don't have the money to pay to unload then they're going to dump the stuff wherever they can.
Yeah.
And that means it's got to be moved twice.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be in somebody's way.
Yeah.
And so that's a major issue. You recall the other morning we were talking to the assistant chief on our Black Men and Women United call, and the issue was made that a lot of people right in the neighborhoods where they're trying to help folks, either moving them or dealing with things, that some of the officers were still out there giving citations.
Yeah.
And was made clear, we were given a promise that would be suspended, because there should no way anyone should be getting a citation in one of these emergency areas while we're trying to help save lives and help families. That's just ridiculous.
But let's say this for anybody who did receive a citation. Please let us know, because they want to review. They've started talking to the officers.
Right.
They want to review every citation that was given in those areas to
Right.
see if they can then dismiss them.
And they seem to know that we have their undivided attention at this point, so we're going to stay on it.
Yeah.
And stay with it, okay?
Yeah, and one of the things Dr. Warren on Black Men and Women United was Assistant Chief Terrence came on and he said in those areas where the whole homes are wide open and their
Residents have been moved.
They are actually increasing the police presence, having patrols there and keeping them around to keep their items safe.
Yeah, because whenever we have these situations and people have to abandon their homes, it's usually followed by a lot of looters coming in. And so they'll be looking for people, and they probably, as we saw the closures there, when people try to get through those closed areas, they're going to probably have to produce something with an address on it to show that they actually live in the areas. They're just going to be admitted just because they show up. And they're going to have to justify going in there. So we don't want people to be fooled. Sometimes when we have predictions of rain coming in San Diego, it comes later than predicted. So it's supposed to start tonight. You probably went to bed looking at a clear sky and thinking it's not going to happen. But we would suggest that everybody take this matter very seriously. It's better to be safe and cautious than to be foolish and get caught up in it.
Well, one of the things is again, Ms. Taylor from the mayor's office is on the line, and she said if anybody's getting receiving citations for towing or any of that, please let the mayor's office know, and they will get hands-on and involved with it. Now, if y'all done got tickets for speeding, or if y'all got tickets for crossing over triple lanes and doing flips and everything else of that nature, y'all keep your ticket. Now, don't be calling the mayor's office saying, I know I was wrong, but I was just frustrated. No, that's
it won't
not
work.
Yes.
It won't work.
Yes. And so, Doc, looking at this, we're using the newspaper again as a resource for people to be able to go back to know where to go, how to go. We're using radio to get the word out. We're using social media. But one of the things that I really am loving is I'm loving the fact that so many of these organizations are coming together and working and pushing through.
Yeah, this is, I have never seen this kind of coordinated unity and teamwork in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember 20 years ago, when we had the fires and whole communities were wiped out, we might have had support in those communities, but we had never had a challenge like that in our immediate southeastern community.
Yeah.
In those days, I lived in East County, and of course, it came together fast. People were there. Many people had RVs and the whole bit. They did a major staging area at Qualcomm where they were able to take in both animals and humans. But this is the first time that I can recall that we've had something like this in our immediate community, where it was just people, because obviously in a city standpoint, we don't have folks with a whole bunch of livestock and all those things, but we do have people that have very serious needs, and I'm very much appreciative of the special attention that's been given to care of our seniors, because that's a real serious issue. And I can tell you the volunteers that are boots on the ground, they have a very special commitment to any senior that they find that has a need. They just kind of push them to the head of the line because they realize that they need support and they're not really in a position to do a lot by themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know what to do, how to do, and things of that nature. So this is going to be the time where we're going to have to look out for one another. This is going to be a time that we're going to have to really, really talk to one another and be able to get on the same page about what needs to be done in this season. And so, again, very, very ecstatic about how things are going about. And, you know, and it's really a blessing to know that we can do this and do it with excellence.
Yes. I don't know if I missed that. I see there's a reference up there that the Encanto, what's that?
So the Encanto Rec Center is newly activated and has a limited supplies currently. The Teen Center in Beckworth Library near ECC, so they have activated those sites for services.
Okay, and that was an area where there was a really severe flooding coming through that channel there.
Mm-hmm.
The church there off of Reverend Cooper's church,
Yeah.
they flooded in terms of the water
Yeah.
coming up over the drainage level. Yeah.
And one of the things about it, I did talk to Pastor Cooper, and he said they do need the help to get their church back in order. But he said one of the good things about it is that we did have flood insurance.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he said that they will be able to rebuild and go ahead and move forward. But right now, the biggest thing is the people that can afford it, and those that did have flood insurance, is still the whole thing about cleaning it out.
Yeah. They got to clean out. They got to have some place to stay in the interim, and all of that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So if you didn't know, we're on live. You can come join us on Zoom if you choose, or you may call in at 858-251-6111, or join us at godradio1.com online. So we have those elements that are available. We have an open mic situation going here where we're discussing this flood crisis, the damage, and the preparations moving forward. We're sharing information as quickly as we get it, and the meetings are ongoing. I know that the Office of Emergency Services for the city is still meeting this evening, and the press conference talked about there was some 300 and some people that were activated, ready on standby to be involved with what's taking place, to be of help to those in the city.
Yeah.
Fire department, all of the folks that can in any way be activated to do anything are on standby.
Yes, and so tonight is just really just an information. So if you're on the feed and you might have questions or you have some concerns, please put in the feed or call in and let us know the information that we have. Again, we have a member of the mayor's staff online, and we have several other community leaders that are tapped in online. We have gyro providers online. We have health professionals online. So we want to make sure that we take this opportunity just to educate you. And for those that are listening in different parts of the country, this is important that, you know, even as an example of what you must begin to prepare for, you know, because you never know when it could be you.
No, there is no way of knowing that. And you know, when I see job provider, is it, I don't know if Ms. Williams, is she in a position
Yes.
where she can speak up or come on by phone? Because she has been just nonstop on the ground through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to pull information out of her because she's so busy working. So is she, Ms. Williams, if you were in there any way where you can join us by phone to give us the observations, because it's not just you, your family has been relentless in this. Your children have been engaged in cooking and preparing those meals, and your husband doing deliveries, and you doing this in addition to all of the other health stuff that you're trying to get done through Gyra Provider. And so if you have anything that you want to share, because I saw you all day today at the Y.
We'll put the call-in number. Call-in number is 858-251-6111. She said donated medical supplies, glucose monitors, any brand, matching test strips. She's saying, I think that's Lasix, first aid kits, Band-Aids, and alcohol swabs.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she said she is going to try to give us a call in. If any of my staff is paying attention, if you guys could put that number up in the feed. All right, there you go, Samantha. If you could call in, we'll try to get you on ASAP.
Okay, so this is our priority right now in terms of what's happening. We have a number of things going on. You know, we're moving, I think yesterday, in addition to the District 4 hearing on the new potentials for the police chief, there was also some on-again, off-again discussion about mayoral debate at ECC. And I understand that it did go on, but...
Let's see, I think we got her online. Samantha, are you
Yes.
there? Samantha, are you there? Let me see if I can get you on. Samantha, hold on, I'm sorry. Can you hear me, Samantha? Samantha? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can barely hear you guys.
Oh, you can barely hear us? Let me see if I can
kick us up.
get more to you. How about now? Can you hear us?
Yes, we're pulling over right now to be able to hear you better.
All right, all right. We just wanted to know if you could go ahead and just tell us what's been going on and how you guys have been handling everything as you guys go and support the community.
So as you guys mentioned earlier, the work down there has been amazing. Real quick, can you guys hear the echo, or is it just on my end?
No, is this on your end? Go ahead.
Can you get up a little louder?
So just like Dr. Warren prefaced earlier, the work down there has been amazing. Leading that command has been the Harvey Foundation, the Village of the Community, SD Hip Hop 5K, Urban Collaborative Project, and like Dr. Warren said, people have been able to set their differences to the side. Not that that I'm aware of, were any differences to begin with, but it's been an amazing experience, a beautiful thing to see our community come together and really form a command center that is unmatched, right? I even heard from community members today as we were out canvassing the community that as they were going to some of the other location access centers that they call LAPs that have been set up in the community, that they were disappointed when they went there by the lack of services that were there. And when they came to the Jackie Robinson YMCA to know that somebody was there to assist them with donations and supplies, cleaning supplies, medical supplies, housing, which is huge. We're even, I spoke with Urban Restoration Counseling today, and we're trying to work with them to see if we can bring on the mental health team to be able to talk to folks about grief, which is a really important factor to deal with, even though people may not have experienced grief in the terms of losing someone, losing your home, losing your car, losing those things that are very necessary for us to be able to do life. People experience grief with that. And then even with the emergency warning coming today about the oncoming storms or possible flash floods, those things can be traumatizing for people after they've already recently experienced something where they've lost a lot related to that. And keeping in mind that what people have lost has been built over a lifetime, right? Things that people were expecting to be able to pass on to their children and to their grandchildren. The things that people have worked hard for to obtain that they may not have been able to safeguard prior to the storm coming. So it's been an amazing experience. Like you mentioned earlier, Jaira, we stepped out of our box a little bit, only by the grace of God. We do have some chefs on our team, and so that number is up to 750, between 750 and 800 in terms of the meals we've been able to provide to our volunteers and to the community. But again, like those organizations that were mentioned, they've also been bringing in all kinds of organizations, tapping into the resources into the community to make sure that meals have been provided by either restaurants, other chefs, other individuals. People are doing their best to document the story because this is a powerful and an amazing story to be told. So there are so many folks who are unsung and have just been pitching in. I'm trying to see if I'm forgetting anything. I think I pretty much summarized it all, but yes.
Well, Ms. Williams, you know, there was, I know you touched upon it. One of the striking things today in that big community room at the Jackie Robinson was the number of people that were in that room to get assistance in terms of housing. And the thing I liked about it most was the civility and the professionalism with which it was done. I mean, there was nobody trying to write a story or take a picture or anything. And then I found out this evening on my way here that at least between 16 and 30 people have been given shelter tonight at the Comfort Inn on Bonita Road. And a lot of that shelter was not just for a night. A lot of that shelter was for 5 days, so it would take people through the rain in the weekend. And I would assume that from what I've seen, that there are going to be efforts to feed those people who are there, because the hotel rooms do not come with room service. And so I saw today a tremendous amount of food being brought in. Workers were being fed as they worked, and nobody was trying to charge anyone for anything. It was just like, it was just arriving, you know, boxes of pizza and salads and sandwiches and stuff, and, you know, water and juice and all of these things. And people were just taking only what they needed while they were working, and they were eating and drinking as they worked. They weren't taking a meal break and kicking back or anything. They were working straight through as if they were being paid $1,000 an hour. So it was an impressive sight.
Right, pretty much. They have been working non-stop. Everyone has been there from sun up to sundown. I think typically the first meeting that's held is between 8 to 9:30 in the morning. And then there's a debrief that happens every single day. Folks are there by 7 a.m. and not leaving until 8, 9, sometimes 10. Once the Y is closed and the last person is leaving out is typically, you know, someone from one of those organizations, making sure that things are ready to get started again the next day. And like you said, that's one of the most critical pieces, is that when it comes to accessing those services, having a liaison from the community, an advocate from the community to stand in the gap to make sure that folks are treated with dignity and with care, and that all those social determinants of health that people forget about, like transportation, like the socioeconomic side, and even just the basic human rights side, right? Giving someone a hug when you know that they need it, or a touch on the shoulder, making sure that they have a phone to be able to access their family and friends, just the little things. And a lot of those things are happening as well, where someone may silent sponsors or purchasing a phone for someone, or just going out of their way to ensure that they're meeting the need of someone else, that brotherly love. And then it's been beautiful to even be a part of Black Men and Women United every Tuesday. And I know you can be able to speak to it if you haven't already, in terms of the silent donors and sponsors there, who've also been able to assist with folks getting housing at some of the hotels for several nights. So that is a piece in place that, again, we haven't been able to see from our elected officials yet, our city, that has already been initiated and put into place by the coalition of organizations that are there. And from a command center standpoint, they have designated specific leaders from organizations that, like you said, whatever's in their wheelhouse or in their skill set, to take command over those areas and make sure they are effectively and efficiently done. And I want to make sure I don't forget the Jackie Robinson YMCA, because I didn't mention them in the initial group, and they have been absolutely amazing. And I think that that's what those types of centers are supposed to be known for, right?
Yes.
And so for us to be able to have that as a hub there, it's been amazing. And they've gone above and beyond to make sure that everyone's needs are met. So shout out to Anna, who's been leading that.
And she's in those meetings all day long. Everything is going on. She's right there as a part of it.
Absolutely.
And it's been outstanding. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. We appreciate the update. We know that some meetings are still going on. I certainly will be there for the one at 8 in the morning when they do the debriefing from the night to see where we are. And we'll be prepared. If the rain is coming, we'll still be ready for it. It'll rain on us, but not in us. And so we'll be there.
Thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you, guys.
And we look forward to working with you and continue to do the work. Thank you all. Dr. Warren, let's get back to it.
Yeah, well, we want to say we just have a few minutes left here. If you have something that you want to donate or questions or information, the Voice and Viewpoint is putting stuff up online. Even though the print issue is out tomorrow, we're still online. We have a online story this afternoon from the press conference today, and we'll be putting stuff up. Hopefully, between tomorrow and Friday, we've made provisions for drone coverage as the rain goes, and so we'll be identifying where those communities are at greatest risk, and we hope to have drones flying over and uploading in real time to the Voice and Viewpoint website pictures, so you don't have to go to Fox to see what's happening. We'll be right there on the ground with it, and we if you know of a flood area or something that we're missing, all you have to do is call us, and we'll get there and we'll make sure that the team gets the word as well. So remember, our number is 619-266-2233. And of course, you can always call Jackie Robinson Why. They have people standing by to provide service in all these areas.
And again, our number here is 858-251-6111. If there's some things that we need to know or we need to get out, we'll be back on the air bright and early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on the Wake Up Morning Show. And we just want you to continue to tune in to the Voice and Viewpoint and all the outlets that are giving out information, trying to give you real-time information. We want you to continue to be a blessing one to another, love on each other, communicate with each other, and realize that there are resources out there. Ms. Taylor from the mayor's office said if you still need a housing voucher, call the Red Cross, 858-309-1200 if you need a housing voucher. And then if you have animals or pets that need to be sheltered, you can also reach out to the Humane Society at 619-299-7012 and press the number 1. All these different helps that are needed.
I want to remind you that the Voice and Viewpoint 11th Annual Gala is still scheduled. We moved it from Jacobs, and we're glad that we did with this second storm. We're now on track for next Saturday, February 10th at the Liberty Station Conference Center. The last day to get tickets to it will be on Monday. And on Monday, at close of business Monday, all sales will be suspended. The ticket prices, if you go to Eventbrite, there's a QR code you can scan. If you pull it up on your phone, the tickets are $103, $95 actually, $8 processing fee. And you're welcome to join us for this celebration. We're honoring some people in our community, some of whom are very much involved even in this rescue effort, as they always have been. And so we invite you to get involved. Don't wait till the last minute. It's a formal black tie event. It's still dress code for the men is dark suit and necktie, and we encourage you to be consistent with that. If you can't do that, then it's probably something you should pass up, because that's an important part of us honoring the people that we are bringing out to this event.
Yes. And on tomorrow, through the midst of it all, tomorrow is the first day of Black History Month. We want you all to be cognizant of we're still in a celebratory mode, but the beautiful thing about it is that what we're seeing happening in our communities is what we have seen African Americans do all their life, and that is when it gets tough, we come together and we unite for a greater purpose. So Dr. Warren, on behalf of GOD Radio and the Voice and Viewpoint, we're excited that Black History Month is going to be starting tomorrow. Normally we would be kicking it off with the gala, but because of the damages and things we're a week in, but not a week behind.
Well, we're starting Black History by making history.
Yes.
In terms of what we're now doing to help each other. So we invite you to become a part of that history and be prayerful and see who you can help beyond yourself. Thank you.
With that being said, this is from the desk of the editor. Y'all be blessed.